Good morning and welcome to the pre-bid conference for ITB 11 FY24, the Randolph Kitchen Renovation Project. I am Brandon Christian, the Senior Procurement Specialist for Arlington Public Schools. During the conference, I will be reviewing the ITB and highlighting those areas which are considered to be of interest. Also representing APS today during the conference are Matt Williams, the Manager of Facilities and Operations, and will be the APS Project Manager, and Gabriella Fito from Studio 27, the Architect of Record. Following the conference, bidders have the opportunity to visit the Randolph site. Bidders interested in doing so are required to contact Matt Williams to make arrangements. Matt's contact details can be found in the ITB. The site visit is scheduled to start at 11 a.m. More information can be found in the ITB and will be addressed later during the conference. Questions are welcome during the conference and will need to be submitted in writing through the chat capability. Questions will be addressed at the end of the conference. The conference is being recorded and a copy will be posted on the current solicitation page of the Procurement Office website. It needs to be emphasized that it is the responsibility of the bidders to make themselves familiar with the requirements of the project and that bids are submitted in accordance with the bid documents. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the ITB. Okay, showing on the screen is the title page of the invitation. Here we have information on the project. The title of the project will be Randolph Kitchen Renovation. The invitation bid number is 11 FY24. The invitation bid issue date was September 11th, 2023. The pre-bid conference being held currently September the 20th, 2023 at 9 a.m. And the bid closing date and time will be October 4th, 2023, no later than 11:59 p.m. That's how long the link will stay open to submit your bids, and we'll be reviewing that later on. And then the bid opening will be the preceding day on October 5th, 2023 at 10 a.m. My contact information is also listed at the top. It's my office number and my email. Throughout the ITB, Arlington Public Schools will be recognized as APS or as the owner. Also referenced is the address of the project. Bids received after the bid closing should not be considered. For any questions, again, here's my contact information. It will be listed throughout the ITB, and also provided is a link to the current solicitations page. We'll be posting updates and any documents pertaining to the ITB. Below is instructions to obtain the bid documents. For drawings and specifications, you will be reaching out to Gabriella Fito. Here is her contact information, her number, and her email address. Again, here's following information on the pre-bid conference today. More information on the examination of sites will be provided in section 13 of the instructions to bidders. Questions about the ITB process or the project, you can forward those questions to myself, Matt, or Gabriella. We all communicate, so communicating to any one of us, we will share that question to get it answered. Please have those questions submitted prior to 5 p.m. September 22nd to give us adequate time to address and make any updates if required. Information on addenda and information items. Just a brief description on the two. Any addenda issued will update the documents. Will update. Will either go and provide updates to the specs or drawings or through the or to the ITB. Any information item issued is just providing details on the project and does not update either the ITB or the project. Any addenda or information items that are issued will be posted on the current solicitation page or on EVA. Excuse me, and on EVA. Submissions of bid, current solicitations, links to the submission of bid will be provided at the current solicitations webpage. Again, any bids received after the closing should not be considered. Only bids submitted through the link, or only we will be accepting bids submitted through the links. We will not be reviewing any bids through mail or fax. Again, the bid closing and bid opening dates are described here. The bid closing will be October 4th, 2023, no later than 11:59 p.m. And the bid opening will be held remotely the following day, October 5th, 2023, at 10 a.m. Provided here is a brief description of the project. I will reach out to Matt to see if he has any further comments on the project at this moment.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, so real quick, the project includes a complete renovation of the existing kitchen space. The current kitchen only allows for single serving lines of students. So with this renovation, there'll be 2 serving lines. The existing layout and equipment are outdated and inefficient. The kitchen's approximately 2,200 square feet. All the equipment's being demolished. Many of the interior walls are being demolished. We've got new lights, ductwork, ceilings, flooring, wall finishes. Most of the building is unsprinklered. There are certain areas of the kitchen that are being sprinklered, so take a look at that. There's some minor fire alarm modifications to the kitchen space. Bidders are expected to provide all new kitchen equipment. There's a schedule on that. The concrete slab is going to remain. There's all new plumbing below slab that's required. Part of the kitchen's on an elevated slab with a crawl space below, and some of the kitchen's on slab on grade. So we'll take a look at that today in the crawl space. Also take a look at the structural drawings. We've got a new makeup air unit on the roof. That's requires additional reinforcement of the structure. So there's some beams that are being installed. Like most of these summer blitz projects, the most challenging part is going to be the schedule, right? So June 18th, the construction knows to proceed, and then substantial completion August 16th, which Brandon will cover later. But that's the most challenging part is the schedule, but it can be done. We've done it before, and yeah, that's it, Brandon.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Yep.
All right, following the project description is a section describing the negotiation procedures in the event the apparent low bidder exceeds available funds. So during the bid opening, I will be announcing the budgets. If all bids are exceeds our available budgets, there is a process laying out or reaching out to the lowest bid for negotiation. And that ends our invitation. Following that section will be the instructions to bidders. Please familiarize yourself with this section. I will be going over only certain highlighted areas that we would like to be of interest. to point out to the bidders. Starting off, highlighted is the failure to comply with the mandatory requirements here laid in. Please recognize the Class 1 mandatory requirements and the Class 2 mandatory requirements described. If you do not meet the Class 1 mandatory requirements when submitting the bids, we will be deeming your bid non-responsive, and I will be describing that process later on. Okay, so I'm going to skip over. To the examination of site. Again, today there will be a site visit for the project. If you are planning to attend, please reach out to Matt. And here is his contact information. Excuse me, his phone and his email. And if you are unable to make the site visit today, please reach out to Matt if you are still interested in the project. All right, in section 18 of the instructions to bidders, we lay out the mandatory requirements in submitting the bids. I want to highlight we are requiring Class A contractor's license for this project. The bidder must have their commercial building contractor classification or their commercial improvement contracting specialty. This project will require a plumbing contractor, electrical contractor, and HVAC contractor, and fire suppression contracting specialties. If the bidder does not possess the mandatory classification and/or specialty services, the bidder must provide this information in accordance to 18.2.1 below, which allows you to provide that information through subcontracting. Listed here are Class 2 mandatory requirements. At the time of submission of your bids, this information doesn't need to be required, but I will be following up on collecting this information, and that will need to be submitted at the required deadline. The list of subcontractors, the price breakdown, and the completed insurance coverage checklist at Appendix 2 may not be required upon your submission, but will be requested upon. Okay, I want to go over the bid form. Again, at the top of the bid form is information about the ITB. This bid form must be submitted to the link at the current solicitation page no later than midnight on October 4th. All right, in section 10 of the bid form, this is where you will be placing your Virginia contractor information. I will be reviewing this information at the beginning of the bid opening of your bid. If this information is not provided, I will deem your bid non-responsive. In section 11, you will be recognizing any addenda that was issued, acknowledging that you recognize there were any updates to the ITB or specs and drawings. In section 13 of the bid form, you will be placing your total bid for bid item 1. And for bid item 2 for section 13, you will be filling in your pricing breakdown for the total bid above. So this information placed in bid item 2 should total your bid item 1. There are no bid alternates for this project. For Section 14, the contact for administration, you'll be putting your contact information here. This will be my primary contact for any contract disputes. We will be collecting your state corporation commission information. And for Section 17, list of some subcontractors, we provided a chart for your listed subcontractors at the time of your bid. Okay. Just want to get to the bidder's qualifications for the project. Here we are collecting information for the experience of the bidders. We are requesting a minimum of 10 years with a Virginia Class A license by the time of the bid closing. Again, the bidder or subcontractors must have the classifications and or specialty services designations required to perform the work. We do collect substantial non-compliance information. And following, we will be collecting demonstrated performances on relevant projects. We are requesting 3 individual projects that involve the renovation of K-12 schools or equivalent institutional facilities. Those projects must be a minimum amount of $2 million per project and have been successfully and substantially completed within the past 10 years prior to the bid closing. And you can list those projects below. We do collect key personnel information for the bid form. We're looking for a project superintendent with at least 10 years of experience. And we're looking for a project manager with at least 7 years of experience. And each of those key personnel must have at least 3 projects with similar size and complexity. And we do request the resumes attached to the bid form for both of those key personnel. All right, following the bid form, highlighted here is a standard bid bond, collecting its standard information for the bid bond. Okay. Following that is the agreement between owner and contractor. This essentially will be the contract for the project. I want to highlight here the contract period. Please take notes of the substantial completion and the final completion and the notice to proceed. And then please reach out if you have any questions or concerns about those deadlines. Also listed will be the contract sum and liquidated damages. For this project, there will be a $1,100 for each day that expires after the time of the substantial completion dates. And for the project, it will be $600 for each day that expires after the final completion date. All right, following the agreements is the standard labor and materials payment bond. Pretty standard information collected on those. And the standard performance bond, excuse me. The performance bonds and the payment bonds will be collected after award. After the P&P bonds are the general conditions. Again, the general conditions are pretty extensive. I will be going over just a couple of sections to take notes, but please familiarize yourself with the entirety of the section. All right. On page 64 of the general conditions, we do request the contractor certification regarding criminal convictions form filled out. This will be collected upon award also. For the general conditions, I also want to point out the insurance section. On page 103 is the beginning of the insurance section. Here we list out the required insurances for the project. Okay, for this project, we are requesting commercial general liability, sexual abuse and molestation liability, subcontractors commercial general liability, workers' compensation, and employer's liability, commercial automobile liability, builder's risk, and we do allow umbrella liability insurance. Okay. Following the general conditions section, we have screenshots of the steps required to submit a bid. Again, if you have any issues with the link or the process, please reach out to myself. And then following the steps to submit your bid is appendix to the insurance coverage checklist. So please have your insurance company review the checklist that's required for the project. Please have them fill out this information in the checklist, and we require their signature at the bottom. So those are the main parts that I would want to make sure to go over for the ITB. Again, you will have to familiarize yourself with every section, not just the parts that I highlighted today. Please reach out to any one of the contacts in the ITB if you have any questions or concern about the process or the project. I will now review if we have received any questions in the chat. All right, so far there are no questions. Please use this time if you have any questions to place it in the chat. Okay, well, there are no questions. Thank you everyone for attending today. Please reach out again if you have any questions or concern, and we look forward to working with you. All right, this concludes the PRIBIC conference for ITB 11 FY24. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.